Rizzo's dolphins like these here at SeaWorld get their name for that distinctive snout, or rostrum as it's called. But not all dolphins have that feature. A relative of that bottlenose dolphin is the Risso's dolphin, and instead of that snout, it has a large bulbous head. Risso's dolphins are rarely seen, so when one strands on a beach, people aren't exactly sure what the animal is. But one thing's for sure, it needs help. Fire Island is a long, narrow barrier island between the New York coast and the Atlantic Ocean. It's a popular summer destination. When vacationers spot this animal beached on a sandbar, they're not even sure if it's dead or alive.
We didn't really know what type of dolphin we were heading out to.
Marine biologist Kim Durham races to the scene with the U.S. Coast Guard, prepared for the worst.
We think the animal's passed. And at the point where I kneel down to do an assessment, she takes a breath.
Kim discovers this animal is alive, and it's a Risso's dolphin. Out of almost 40 species of dolphin, this one hardly ever is seen up close by humans.
Anytime a dolphin strands, there's a very high probability that that animal is not going to survive. But especially a Risso's dolphin that should be far offshore in very deep waters, that's highly abnormal, and it means that the dolphin's in dire distress.
So then we were faced with the fact, okay, how are we going to get her off the sandbar?
The nearest care facility is 50 miles away, but at 9 feet long and almost 600 pounds, she's not easy to move. They first tried gently leading her along the Coast Guard boat in the water, but she's weak and barely breathing.
I'm pushing you in, Blanco, all right?
So they get her out of the water and put her into a truck to quickly get her the help she desperately needs. When the dolphin arrives, a team of veterinarians at the Riverhead Foundation is waiting to spring into action. They need to find out why she's so sick, so they run a series of tests.
The first 48 hours for any kind of stranded animal are critical.
Okay, Dan?
Now the team faces the most decisive moment yet in this sea rescue, moving her into a rehab pool.
Heads touching.
If she's too weak to swim, she'll sink straight to the bottom.
Keep coming down.
The team gets ready to hold her up. They know if she can't support herself in the water, there's almost no chance she'll survive on her own. Tense minutes pass as the ailing dolphin barely moves. Then, she surprises everyone with a sudden burst of energy.
She was maneuvering well. She was able to go in various different directions. So that was a good sign.
It's the first time since rescuers found her that this dolphin shows any real sign of life. She's moving, but she's still very weak and about 100 pounds underweight. That means getting her to eat is now their most important task.
One of our staff members was like, I'm going to throw a squid in and just see. And she immediately ate the squid. And that was huge for us.
Her newfound appetite relieves some fears, but what about those strange white marks all over her body? Well, it turns out the team doesn't have to worry about them.
Those marks are called rake marks. Risso's dolphins are very gregarious animals. They're often found in groups of 10 to 50, and with all those animals together, they horseplay, so those marks are from the teeth of other animals.
The Riverhead Foundation names this female Roxanne as a tribute to another Risso's dolphin they rescued 8 years earlier. They named that Risso's dolphin Rocky, and he was a success story. He was the first of his kind to be successfully rehabilitated and returned in the U.S. Now they're hoping to repeat that triumph with Roxanne. But their hope turns to fear the moment her medical tests come back.
Roxanne is suffering from something called gastric bleeding, which can be fatal.
It's like stomach ulcers in humans, only for a marine mammal living in the harsh open ocean, it can be a death sentence. Coming up, will Roxanne's internal bleeding mean the end of her recovery? to our show. In this sea rescue, Roxanne, the deep-water rissos dolphin, was nearly dead when she was found stranded on a sandbar off Fire Island, New York. She seemed to be recovering well, but the team just learned that she's bleeding inside her stomach. And for a dolphin, that's a life-threatening condition.
Treatment for gastric bleeding, some of it's supportive, rehydrating and actually replenishing that animal's fluid volume. The second thing is to address the ulcers directly. So they're going to administer medications that will help stop the bleeding.
Veterinarians at the Riverhead Foundation give Roxanne the medication and food she needs. But when it comes to fighting off the infection that's causing her ulcers, it's now all up to Roxanne. All the team can do is hope she has a strengthening immune system. And wait.
Her behavior started changing for the better. She started gaining weight, which is critical when you're doing a dolphin rehab.
Roxanne proves to be a fighter. Once her stomach heals, this starving animal chows down a hearty 75 pounds of squid a day.
She loved her squid.
And at that rate, it only takes Roxanne a few short months to gain 123 pounds, packing on all the weight she lost, and then some.
She's exhibiting a lot of energy, swimming around the pool and looking robust and fit and ready for return.
Roxanne may be ready, but getting a 700-pound-plus dolphin back into the deep ocean is a major undertaking. The team uses a crane to hoist her into a specially built container. Then she's loaded onto a research vessel for the last leg of her amazing journey.
Roxanne was taken by boat about 4 hours out into the deep sea, where she was tagged with a tracking device where scientists can monitor her activities for years to come. And this is huge because not a whole lot is known about this elusive species called rissos dolphins.
Once the team reaches deep waters, Roxanne is ready to slide back home. The ship's horn signals the beginning of a new chapter for this rarely seen animal.
There's very few rissos dolphins that are rescued and even fewer that are successfully rehabilitated and returned. So Roxanne's story is an incredibly inspiring one.
Closed captioning.